let's talk about why your plants die. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. My name is Nicole and this channel is all about houseplants, gardening, or anything plant related and healthy lifestyle. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe. Let's dive into today's topic. There are so many mistakes that we might make when it comes to houseplant, especially when we don't know what we are doing. So today's video, I'm going to talk about 9 common mistakes that we make and also how to prevent them. The number one mistake that people often make is they take a plant home without knowing any information about the plant. We often go to the nurseries or garden centers and seeing some plants that are so pretty and we want to take it home. But if we don't know any information about it, or we just don't even know the name of the plant and decided to take it home, I think this is irresponsible. So I actually made this mistake a couple months ago or a month ago. I bought a alocasia poly because I really liked the look of it. I had never seen one in my real life that time. So I took it home. I knew what it likes. It requires a certain temperature and high humidity. I knew I couldn't provide that environment for it, especially during the winter time. I always keep my house temperature very low. So I regretted it after I took it home. So I decided to took it to the houseplant swapped event and share it with other people. So if you also make this kind of mistake, that is okay, but just don't make it again, because I regretted what I did and I don't want that happen to you too. The number 2 mistake that a lot of people make is they don't read the instructions or the instruction tag. Some people think this instruction tag is so ugly, so when they take the plant home, they throw it away. But this one is very, very useful. If you flip it over, it tells you very detailed information about the sun exposure, the temperature, and the watering, how much water, how much humidity that plant requires. So I strongly encourage you to keep the tag. But if you feel comfortable taking care of your plant, or after a couple or 3 months your plant is thriving and you know everything about it, it's okay to throw away. But I usually leave it right here for at least 2 months. And another tip I want to talk about is when you go to local nurseries, a lot of time it doesn't have the name of the plant or any instruction tag, because they usually clip that cutting and plant it, they propagate it. That's why it doesn't have information. At that time, I strongly encourage you to ask the nursery owner or the employee. Make sure you get all the information you need, how to take care of it and what environment it needs. That can help you a lot. The number 3 mistake that a lot of people make is about sun exposure. Let me use this snake plant for example. Snake plant can tolerate in low light setting and it can also thrive in bright light. So this one is more forgiving plant. However, for some other plants like calathea, a certain type of calathea, they are very tricky and they require specific sun exposure. They don't want too bright, they don't want too low light, they just want like right in the middle. So you really need to read that instruction tag and make sure you know where to put it. And also, if you don't think your house or your apartment can provide that environment to your plant, please do not get it. This is life. Yeah, it's okay if it dies. We all learn mistakes, but if you know it's not going to make it, then why spend the money, and why not just leave it to someone who can provide a better home for that plant? The number 4 mistake that a lot of people make is about watering. Sometimes we're not sure how often we should water our plant. Once a week, once a day, or once a month. For example, this aloe vera and this snake plant, if I water them once a day, it probably will die within a month because they don't like that much water. They store all their water in their stems. So it really depends on the type of plants that you get and also the season. For example, summer and spring season is their growing season. They grow way faster, and with the hotter temperature, they just need more water. But in winter time, they basically, some of them go dormant and some of them just slowly growing. They don't need that much water. So you really need to read that instruction tag. So you really need to learn your plant and understand what it needs and their preferences. The number 5 is temperature. Some plants are way more sensitive than the other plants regarding to temperature. For example, this one, the snake plant, the aloe vera or ZZ plants, they're more like a very hardy plants. However, some plants in the Calathea family or fern family, they're more sensitive to temperature. Let me use the same example that I used earlier. My alocasia poly. Their happy zone is between 70 degrees Fahrenheit to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 20 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius. So if I could not provide that 20 degree to 30 degrees Celsius temperature to them, they probably would start to drop the leaves in winter, or the leaves just gradually turn yellow. So it's pretty tricky, but you have to know what temperature your plant likes. You gotta do some research after you purchase your plant or before you purchase your plant if you could. The number 6 is moisture. Moisture is so important, so that's why we purchase a humidifier for our plants. Some plants also very sensitive to moisture. That's why we sometimes have to spray the leaves. I spray my Monstera deliciosa quite often, probably a couple days, every couple days. And those tropical plants just require a lot of moisture in order to keep the plant healthy. So make sure you read the instruction tag and again learn your plant. Number 7 is about pots. I want to talk about the size of the pot and the drainage holes of the pot. Let's talk about the size first. This plant is in a smaller container, and my snake plant is in a way bigger container than this one. And my snake plant actually needs a smaller pot because they prefer to be root bound a little bit. And this is the mistake that I made. This bigger pot you have, it holds way more water than it needs, probably 200% of the water that my snake plants need. So I water it once a month or every 4 to 6 weeks. But my aloe plant, I probably water it once a week because it's in a way smaller pot and the water evaporates way faster than here. And I also want to talk about the drainage hole. It is so important. This aloe plant is in a nursery pot, so it has very nice drainage hole. And some pots, especially some ceramic pots, they look very pretty, and we always like to pick it up from the store. However, some people directly plant their houseplant in the ceramic pot, and this is the mistake. You should always keep your plants in a nursery pot and then put it in the ceramic pot. The ceramic pot is the decoration. Remember that. It's just the decoration. It's not a real pot. And this one is a pot, but it has the saucer. This saucer, I can take it off and it has the holes in it. So you need to always put your plants in a pot that has drainage holes. Otherwise, it can cause very serious root rot problems, and that is not what we want to see. And when a plant has root rot, one of the most common symptoms is their leaves turn yellow and they just look very sick and droopy, and we don't want to see that. Number 8 is pest. When we go to a garden center or a local nursery, make sure to check if there's little bugs or pests living in the plant or climbing on the leaves. For example, I would always check the leaves and underneath the leaves, and also check the soil if there's anything climbing on it. If you see any little bugs or any like the spiders, it might be spider mites, or it might be the other bugs that we hate to deal with. If unfortunately you have a plant that is sick and need to be under pest control, make sure you separate it with the other healthy plants first, because this is so important. You don't want your healthy plants get infected. I have an English ivy that was attacked by spider mites, so I moved it outdoor immediately, and now it's staying out there. Not 100% back yet, but at least the rest of my plants, they are fine. They don't have any spider mites. And this is what I do, and I suggest you guys do. Just separate them. The last one is giving up on your plants too soon. If your plant is sick or the leaves is just yellow or not looking good, try different ways to save it. For example, propagation. If this plant is very sick, I will find a note and cut it and do water propagation or soil propagation. So it probably could save its life or save part of it. And sometimes it might require some trimming, or sometimes just give it some fresh soil. It might bring it back. There are so many ways that you might be able to save your plants, so don't give it up on them so soon. They might come back and become one of your favorite plants. Those are the 9 mistakes that I've seen so many people make, and I think we can totally avoid them. If we make those mistakes, that is okay. We learn from our mistakes and we will gain more knowledge about our plants. So again, if you have any questions about the tips or mistakes that I mentioned above, please leave a comment below and I'm happy to answer them. If you just want to know more about me, my care tips to my plants, or just want to see some plant photos, feel free to follow me on Instagram or Facebook. I'm very active there. I post pictures every day, sometimes stories. That's it for today's video. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye bye.